with Theta and Delta, at which point I opened up my mind to channel and trans art started to come through. And strangely enough, alien beings started to come through, which was kind of disturbing for me at first to have that kind of contact. But I try to train people on how to open up their mind to have direct communication, because as we know, it's illegal to communicate with aliens in this world. So that is a executable offense. So you're not allowed to do that. But if you learn to open your brain in these kinds of channels and to put it in these kinds of frequencies, you can actually demonstrate that they exist yourself. Instead of relying on other people to convey to you their experience, you can do it yourself. So disclosure will come from us, not from governments, it'll come from us. And that will come from direct experience through the people. So there are ways to do it. Tons of people have done it. You can do it too. I encourage you to learn these things and to open up your mind. Does that mean they're all good? No. Like anything, there's good, there's bad. You can turn on the channel and get something terrible, and you can turn on the channel and get something very positive and inspiring. So it's really about what you tune into. Rather than being scared of it, you should embrace it. It's a function of our biology. It's how we work. It's our God-given gifts, and we should learn to use it. So again, I deal largely also with artificial intelligence, which you can't deny the presence of extraterrestrials any longer, I think, for the vast majority of our audience. So the question becomes, how is our technology being influenced by extraterrestrials? And how has our technology grown in such leaps and bounds over such a short period of time? And how are the aliens connected to that technology development? So that's some of the stuff that I cover, and thank you.
We're going to save some of that for the transhumanist panel on Sunday. So we'll get into all the AI transhumanist stuff as the closing panel. But Stephen Kelly wasn't even going to be on this panel unless I was the moderator instead of David Said Farman. So we got him here. Tell us who you are.
We love David. We love David. Yeah. Brad's like the best. We all know that, right? I mean, come on, Brad. Seriously, I told David, I said, David, you want to make more money, you want to sell more tickets, have Brad as your full-time MC.
Thank you.
You guys agree? Shout out to Brad. Yeah? I'm serious, right?
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, okay, all right, my name is Stephen D. Kelly. I'm like Sean David Moore, you got to have the D in there. But anyway, all right, I was ex-CIA NSA person. I dealt with Area 51 types, and I was an optical engineer, laser pioneer, Area 51 recruit. I've worked with the Billy Meyer crew. I got exposed to alien technology play and stuff. Because of the stuff I was working in, I was able to develop, I was able to figure out how they built the UFOs and the beam ships, and I was able to develop methodology for that. And eventually I discovered, I actually realized that there was other more things to it, and I basically stumbled upon a methodology for achieving light speed using the same materials that they used to build these things, which is a coincidence. That was my experience. What else other than being attracted out to Area 51, discovering some, well, let's see, having Men in Black in my garage, having Draco reptilians trying to handle me, you know, a couple of them. They're both dead now, but hey. One of them was nice, one of them wasn't so nice. But my whole thing right now is saving the children occupied again, saving the world, paradise on earth. And the gray Draco and Anunnaki are my enemy. There are no good ones. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you. Oh, Pleiadians are okay, but they don't talk to us. If they talk to you, they're not okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of Alien Event and Biomed Expo. I'm Hans Dietrich. I'm a graphic and multimedia designer. But I also study esoteric research, and a lot of my research has taken me into Buddhist cultural mysticism, the events of Mount Meru, ascended Tulku masters, and all the connections to Sirius. And so this has been a huge part of my study recently. I do a bunch of lectures, mostly around Buddhist cultural mysticism and the Dropa stones and Dropa people, but I also talk about the ancient lands of Kemet, the lands of Egypt before the Greeks. I talk about AI in the movies as well. I do the magic of symbology. And recently I've been doing a lot with some minor NASA conspiracies that are out there that are just there in plain sight for everybody to see. And so that's a bit about my research. I'll be speaking at 5, a couple rooms over, and yeah, come check it out.
The Dropa stones, right?
Yeah, right.
Hi everyone, I'm Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, and let's see, I'm an investigative journalist, documentary filmmaker. I've been doing this for now about 20 years, and I'm all about truth, and I'm all about conspiracies in every walk of life, and investigating, of course, the alien question, the alien visitors, the ones that live here already, and the interference with us, and the genetic re-engineering of humanity, which was already a hybrid race and continues to be, and humanism is on the horizon, and I'll reserve some of my comments for the later panel on that, but yeah, so I cover just about everything, and I've gone around the world with a camera, so I also used to, in the old days, interview people in person with a camera, and former partner, and he was with me for about 3 years, and then since then I've been doing this on my own, and have a one-person assistant from time to time in Egypt when I'm shooting my documentaries as we tour around. So I do tours of Egypt every year. This year, I think we missed it because there's so much war interference over in the Middle East right now that a lot of people were very hesitant to go over there. We're hoping to do a tour probably around February, March of this year, if things will sort of allow for that. So I'm also psychic intuitive. I know I have activated all my chakras through Kundalini meditation many, many years ago in my 20s, and that has helped me to heal from various attacks over time, as well as any illnesses or whatever comes along. So yeah, I think that covers some of it.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kusoj, I'm Cambodian. I'm basically a representative from an extraterrestrial culture in the far future which human culture have evolved into. From 6,575,000 and 42 years, and I was sent from that, they call it Moha dream reality, that means cosmic reality, because from the future everything is a dream. Even this reality is a dream, or what you call in the Buddhist culture illusion. In your modern culture you call it simulation. And I was taken to the future to be taught by them, to show them that every reality, whether you dream of one, make up one, imagine one, is all a dream, but it's all real from your perspective of experience. But once you make a transition from reality to reality, or dream reality to dream reality, you realize you're not part of that reality, but you actually are a single consciousness that have many aspects of yourself, projecting yourself into the different multi-dream reality. What my purpose that they send me is to teach you how to become master of dream world. The multiple infinite number of dream world, this is one aspect that you are existed in. So they asked me to come into this dream world and present the scientific knowledge of how physics can manipulate the dream world, how the mind can manipulate the dream world, how biology, chemistry can manipulate dream reality. So my goal is to present, and also my body is designed a genetic restructure to allow the original teacher, which is the professor of the future, can step into my body and speak and transmit knowledge. How they say the evolutionary to become a dream master is to gain understanding, to be wakeful in the dream world, so you can become a dream master by knowing you're in a dream world. Now you can control it and recreate the way that you want it to be. So therefore heaven and hell is up to you how you create it. And that was the purpose of taking me and sending me back. They taken me when I visit Angkor Wat, and they took my consciousness and reestablished it and trained for 32 years and 6 months and sent me back to this current dream world, or this dream body, and so I can present their scientific advancement to our world, and hopefully we can become like them, a dream master on a galactic or universal level.
Great. Thank you. Send that mic back. You guys are on another one.
Hello, my name is Brad Marcus, and I've been a long time contactee interested in the reality of extraterrestrial beings. Is kind of my goal is to make people aware and definitely sure that these beings do exist, extraterrestrial humans as well as other races, and that we are part of a galactic family, basically. So I'm new to being active in the field outwardly, but inwardly and behind the scenes I've been pretty active since 2014, researching about the different contactees or extraterrestrial contact. I will be working on a couple books and maybe doing more speaking engagements. I thank Saeed David Farman for having me as a speaker. I spoke today about Anunnaki star seeds, and I mentioned Maria Orsic also. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa Jeanette Thurmond Morris. I go by TJ Morris for those of you that follow me. And our illustrious leader, Commander, has just walked in of this great cosmic event. Yes. So, right when I'm introducing myself to the humanity. So, I really appreciate Saeed David Farman and his business name David, that most of you know him by. He's a wonderful promoter, and he brought me here. He's known me for 20 or 30 years, since we met over being event planners at the Pythagoras conference, which we verified. And we probably have past lives, because as many of you know here, we've probably seen each other somewhere, or we feel comfortable to be around each other. So I hope we make you comfortable today. I have been a investigator since May 10th, 1967. I retired from the United States government in October 10th, 2017. I have since been working. I was a UFO article journalist for UFO Digest in Canada since 2007. I've had TJ Morris ET Radio since 2012. On iHeart now, and I have started ET Talk TV for videos. I have a lot of them on YouTube, and just being a podcast producer with the gentleman next to me that I've known. He's been helping me with the Ascension Center ACO and Alien Contact Organization since 2012. So Brett Litter and I did this year, 2024, to get me back on, I guess, into the business. I've been an author for years. If you're interested or book reader, I do Alien Contact Org. I did Roswell UFO Encounters, and I've done Teresa of Ascension, a lot of Ascension books if you're into that, a lot of self-help books. So I'm considered, or identify as an author, publisher, and producer. But what gets me claim to fame was actually my out-of-body near-death extraterrestrial experiences and being a contact information interpreter and learning from the J. Allen Hynek recruitment in Star Wars in 1985 with President Reagan with hip pocket orders under the Reagan and Bush administration. So I've got a lot of training as an investigator, investigative reporter, legal investigator, and also now we market and promote alienology, ufology, cosmology, and of course New Humanity with Saeed David Farman. So we're welcoming everybody, and I really am happy to be coming out of the UFO. I was never allowed to go to UFO, so I guess this alien event and the biomed goes with UFO business. But anyway, if you'd like a UAP associate pin, UFO association pin, we're trying to just increase our tribe, and it's just welcoming. So I'll be here to answer any questions about out-of-body near-death experiences, cosmology, and how we work with extraterrestrials. So that's what I do. Next.
All right. We're getting even a couple more panelists, so we're going to have to keep our comments even faster now to give everybody equal time.
Okay, I'm Brett Luter.
Do it. Done. Move on.
I, like Carrie Cassidy, I'm an investigative journalist. I have a degree in journalism with an option in public relations.
Closer.
I wrote this
Closer mic.
a little closer, because usually my voice is so boom. Anyway, so I wrote this book in 2008. It's about the role of the roots regularosses in terms of a global struggle for control of human consciousness. Say that 5 times fast. 2012, I did a UFO Hunter's Guide, and tomorrow I'll be debuting material for my third and forthcoming book called Agents of Ascension, UFO PR. And it's about how public relations has controlled the UFO narrative. And it's at 4:15. I'm not sure what room, but come on out. It's going to be a barn burner.
There you go. That's nice, short, sweet.
Okay, I'm the guy who thought it was 3:30 instead of 3 o'clock, so sorry about that, and I had to walk in front of everybody. But my name's Mike Barrett. I used to do a lot of shows like Ancient Aliens. I'm an author, Dark Mission with Richard C. Hoagland, a whole series of other books on Ancient Aliens on the Moon, on Mars, Secret Agenda, the JFK, Ancient Aliens and JFK, which is, I think, mostly what I'm going to be lecturing about tomorrow, which is why they killed President Kennedy and how that led us down the completely wrong path that I think we find ourselves on today, including with the UFO issue, which there's a lot of disinformation out there on the whole subject. And hopefully today, with all of us here, you're going to get more clarity on where we're really at, as opposed to what you see on the mainstream media, which we all know you can't believe, not even one word of it anymore. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being curious. And I'll see you tomorrow at, I guess, 9 o'clock. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Eric the Healer, Reza Dadmer. I'm a co-producer, a secret partner. Saw you working out, helping him on the janitor, everything. You'll see me running around back. I started speaking publicly at 2013, but I have been involved in this alien movement since in high school. They voted me the guy to greet the aliens when they landed, and I embraced it. And in the 1969 moon landing, I told my parents that it was a lie, what they were showing on TV, and they asked me how I knew, and I said I was there. I saw the spaceships and the aliens, and they laughed at me. They said, "How'd you get there?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I guess I flew." They said, "You can fly, show us." And I couldn't show them, and they laughed at me. And that's how we're programmed since we're kids. But we all have this ability when we're young, and we forget. We're programmed by society and our parents not to believe. But all my life, I've had experiences. And working with Saeed since 2013, I've had aliens come up to me at the shows and tell us that they like what I'm doing and to keep doing what I'm doing. About 2017, I met the heart-shaped skull alien who goes by the name of J, but I realized that he is Q, because when I looked at the keyboard, I saw J as the 17th letter on the keyboard. And my Portuguese girlfriend met him in the 90s and told me that about him, that I wasn't ready to meet him, but he wanted me to know about him. So what I really think is that these are from the future, that it's us from the future, and that we're looking in the wrong places, outer space. It's really inner space and other dimensions and inner Earth and the ocean, because this is a water planet, and they're hidden in their ocean, and water is the key to everything. We're mostly made up of water, and you notice the watery surface of the portals of the stargates, and so I think this is the year of disclosure, and we're about to realize a lot of things. So thank you.
Great, thank you. We just added Rachel on the panel. Tell us briefly about yourself, Rachel.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel. I run a family office, and I'm here to be a conduit for the codes of the future and restoring order to humanity by bridging all archaic systems and disintegrating them into the real holographic reality that we are all part of a massive quantum infrastructure supercomputer simulation kind of game of life in real time, real estate, community, blueprint gridding all over the world, and creating sanctuaries in a very efficient manner for disaster prevention and relief. Thank you.
Nice. So, if we were to listen to the mainstream media, who very rarely cover this subject, it's only just started to take a new form when Lester Holt got on the NBC Nightly News a year ago last May and said that the Pentagon reported that there's a mothership in our solar system. But that was just a one and done, and it was gone. I mean, how isn't this the biggest news story of all time? We should still be talking about it and looking at pictures and trying to understand it. So I think everybody in this room has a pretty good idea that there has been a whitewash on this whole subject. But let's just play devil's advocate on the panel today. And why don't we start on the panel on this side, Eric? What is your best evidence that aliens exist? Let's hear it from all you guys. It might be your own personal experience or just...
I'm not selling anything. I don't care about any followers. You can look at my face. I resonate truth. I met them. I met aliens. They come up to me. I see them. I've gone out there. We're aliens. We're 22 different aliens, okay? We're the best of 22 aliens. We're the royalty of the... We're in the center of everything. Everything revolves around us. What happens here affects the rest of the universe. That's why there's... If the motherships were to uncloak, you couldn't see any stars or anything, okay? They're all here waiting to see what's about to happen now in the near future. We're about to have the greatest disclosure. They're around us, living among us, okay? My boss shapeshifted. My boss was Draco Reptilian, okay? And I freaked out. I thought when I called him a dragon, I meant his Chinese astrology. I didn't mean that he was a real dragon. But then he shapeshifts in front of me into slit eyes and the scales on his face. I said, holy shit. I told one of the hell physicists I was working with. He looked at me without skipping a beat and said, I've seen him in full form with wings and everything. Okay? So I'm telling you first-hand information. I don't give a shit if you believe me or not.
2 minute replies because we got to get through here. Mike Barra did a book called Ancient Aliens on Mars and the Moon.
Yeah, the thing is though, Brad, is that, I was just thinking, like, what's my best evidence? Well, I would say the face on Mars, but that's human, okay? It looks like a human face. And all this stuff on the moon, it looks like human engineering. So either there's one common form of engineering in building structures, which are all over the moon and all over Mars, or we built them. Some previous version of humanity built them, not aliens. So then what's the best evidence of aliens? And to me, it's got to come back to the personal direct encounters that people have had with them. I'm friends with a guy named Tom Reed, who, by the way, Dave, we need to get out here next year for Tom Reed to tell his story, his abduction experience. And I know he's not lying to me. I mean, I've interviewed the guy on the show and done several things with him, and I've talked to Whitley Strieber, and I had a great, bizarre experience with Strieber when I was in Manchester, England, a couple years ago. And he was staying in a room next to me. Let me just tell you, his friends come and visit him on a regular basis, okay? So to me, it's the experience of these people that you meet that have had this stuff and these experiences, direct contact. And there's a lot of evidence, the Betty and Barney Hill cases, Travis Walton's case. The thing is that these people are not all crazy, and they are not all seeking attention. And once you get through that, you realize that something really, really, to use a phrase, otherworldly happened to them. And when you face that reality, then you know that the evidence is really coming from the personal testimony. If your personal testimony is good enough to convict somebody of murder and send them to prison for the rest of their life, or even to the electric chair, why isn't it good enough to say, I met someone from another world?
All right, good answer.
Abductee, contactee testimony is definitely very powerful. I wouldn't rank that at the top of the list because I think there's technology that exists that can fake those kind of experiences within a person's consciousness, and it's very hard to discern as a human being on Earth. I know I've found that very tricky. I think ancient evidence, rock art, petroglyphs, pictograms, ancient texts, I think that's the top evidence, because if you're going to make the case that there's time travelers that planted that evidence to make it look like there's aliens, I mean, maybe I can stay open to that. Otherwise, no one's faking stuff back then. They're just saying what they think it is, even if they don't know, and they're describing it as best they can. So I think that stuff is more honest and more trustworthy, although contactee, abductee testimony is definitely powerful.
Okay, Teresa Morris. I know and I have a personal testimony because when I was a child, I was visited, and as children, so I'll say that I met little children that could educate me. When I died in the 2nd grade, I had orb experiences. The only thing I could relate it to was Wizard of Oz and Glinda coming down in a ball, an orb. So I've been visited by orbs ever since. The next one was when I had an out-of-body experience and I had childbirth placenta previa, and I left my body and went off planet and went soaring. And I realized then that there was beings there and that we weren't the only one here on the planet. And this, right after that, I had gone and visited White Sands where uncles worked at Los Alamos, and I wanted to go there, and I was taken down into a spacecraft. They put 2 of my cousins to sleep. I don't know why I was one that got to, other than I had earlier experience in death and dying. That's how I related. So at the second time was when they came down. So I was visited then, and I don't have a real vision of everything that happened, but since then when they visited me, they've shown me certain things that I needed to know. And I firmly believe that that's why the government seemed to choose me for the type of psychic medium or remote viewing, or however you want to say it these days, or making contact, because they keep up with people like us. And this is the first time I'm speaking out in front of other humans. You know, I mean, I've done military briefings, but this isn't the same. So I believe this is important for contactees to come out and speak about such things, and hope we do a good job of this. Well, I'll be doing out-of-body near-death experiences because to me, I believe it's a big part of the consciousness.
Great, thank you.
One of the greatest evidences I feel is the testimony of Elena Danaan. For me, that's one. And I've seen some beings myself. I haven't had a physical encounter where I was abducted or taken in a beam of light, but I feel the reality of it. I get a loud ringing in my ear very often when I hear genuine contactees, and I'm getting it right now, so that's my testimony. And to mention the lights we saw September 27th at 10 o'clock in Westminster, Colorado. We saw a flight of ships overhead, and there's videos of it. Thank you.
The idea of evidence come in 3 forms: from technology, from biology, and the other one is the relationship of the mind. This is the 3 evidence. And your world, it will be considered the moon and the ancient structure. It's similar. That means it's learned by a group of the same teacher sharing the knowledge with the human ancestor. As for that's technology of the ancient time. And the moon is very spherical. Nowhere in the universe where a planet is very spherical. The moon is perfect. That means it's been engineered and designed by a higher intelligence. Biological evidence, it'll be your genetic code. In there, consider the evolution changes your DNA. Naturally, the DNA would take time to evolve a sentient life form, but your first species, basically, your DNA has been enhanced with higher development, intelligent, and sensitive to information awareness, transfer, and processing. That means, biologically speaking, your DNA is the evidence that you have been injected with extraterrestrial enhancement. And thirdly, it's your relationship with wanting to meet who is the creator. So each one of you has the ability to become sensitive to energetic field and biological changes, and ability to remote view, whether consciously or subconsciously. This is the evidence that there is an enhancement going on. This is by this pattern, that means there's evidence in a practical pattern in these 3 areas: technological, biology, and relationship, mind science, which is your what's called psychic phenomenon ability. They call it, in this case, your clairvoyant, your remote viewing ability.
Thank you.
Well, I'd say the best evidence of alien presence is that we're here.
Yeah.
We are aliens, okay? They are us. We are their descendants. And, we come from the stars and we will return to the stars, as Bob Dean always said. So what else can I tell you? I've had contact with other aliens besides myself my whole life, and since I was a kid, visitations, conscious, and I was visited by a little Andromedan. There's reason to believe he was the same Andromedan that met with Alex Collier years later, and he sat and talked to me all night long on a chair next to my bed. He was a small little man with a bald head. And right before I came to back to this reality, I said, "Wait a minute, where are you from?" And he said, "Andromeda." And this is years before I got involved in Camelot or anything like that. And I was very disappointed because because he just looked like a man, you know, a little old man. And I wanted to see like a more exotic alien at that point. Later I did. And I've seen Draco, even when consciously in meditation I've tapped into the interdimensional space and saw a Draco flying right by me. He was conscious of me, I was conscious of him. He wanted me to see him. So I think we're constantly dealing with what we call aliens and, visitors from other planets, and they're so numerous at this point. And of course I have this whistleblower testimony to this effect going back 20 years, and quite in depth. As many people will know, I do at least 2-hour interviews and sometimes multiples of that, like with Captain Mark Richards, in which I've interviewed him 12 times over the past 5 years. And all of these are the whistleblowers primarily are ex-military and even current military, and they, in some cases, break their security oaths to talk to me. And so I think that evidence, which is coming from a known military and ex-military individual who's been working in the secret space program for, in some cases, 40 years or more of their life, and then coming and testifying. The reason they come forward is because they believe that humanity has a right to know. And this weighs on their conscience as they get older, and then they decide they want to leave a legacy behind, and then they decide they need to tell the truth to humanity. Thank you.
So I'm not a contactee, but I'm an experiencer. And so I grew up in Kathmandu, Nepal, and one of my first experiences when I was 15, my best friend Richard, sadly he passed away last month, and I were hanging out with my father in Pokhara. There's a famous lake there, Feywatal, and underneath the lake is a bunch of cave systems. And one night we were writing a science fiction story that I'm going to continue on, and we watched 3 lights whip out of the lake into the sky. And that was my first experience around what I would consider an extraterrestrial entity or craft of sorts. Currently I live in Portland, Oregon, and we're around volcanic activity, and we see a lot of stuff in the skies over Portland. And when I lived in Hawaii, I had a couple of experiences there where there was a cigar-shaped craft floating across the cane fields between where I lived in Paia and Haiku, which is about 15 miles away. And I thought it was the top of a truck until it went behind Baldwin Hill. And then I stopped and went, well, Baldwin Hill is 10 miles away. How big is this thing? And so I had some interesting experiences in Hawaii. I have about 5 hours of time lapse that I can't remember from an experience when I was in Hawaii. But the most interesting and prolific one was when I was in Egypt in 2018. I'm on the top of the Nile cruise. When you're on the Nile, there's not a lot of light pollution from local villages or townships. And I was hanging out with Brian Forrester, a researcher from Peru, and his wife Irene. And there were probably 8 of us to 10 of us on top of the boat. We were drinking beer and having some shisha and just having good conversations with Brian and Irene. And Irene stands up and goes, "What's that?" And this orb, like blue and orange, whips by the boat. And following it are 2 F-15s. And then about 30, 40 seconds after they passed, another orb decides just kind of bob along and go, "Hey, here we are," And it's interesting because at this almost exact time in Portland, Oregon, there was what they considered an orb that whipped past the Portland International Airport, PDX. They moved all the F-35s from Klamath Falls, where they used to have them stationed there, to Portland. And this orb whipped by, like I said, about the same time in 2018. And they scrambled the F-35s almost instantly. They have VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, so they can get up into the air real quick. And they chased this thing literally from Portland to Fort Lewis outside of Seattle in under a few minutes. I mean, it was very fast that they were chasing these things. And so the question is, were these orbs drones, training the pilots, or was this actually something that was in the skies? And so these have been some of my experiences around craft and extraterrestrials.
All right.
Thank you, David. We love you. All right, first of all, the word evidence is abused. I'm sick of the word evidence, like I'm sick of the word proof, like I'm sick of people saying, give me a link. Do you have a link? Is it true? I haven't seen it on the internet. There must be a link if it's true. I'm sick of it. I've been doing this stuff a long time. Aliens, I've seen aliens at David's event. I take pictures of these guys. I have them come up to me. I have them harass me. I don't know if they're NSA, CIA, this planet, Draco, whatever. I've had Dracos in my life. Yes, I've had Dracos come to me and try to be handlers. I've dealt with Billy Meyer. You want to know what evidence is? Evidence is what happens after you do these things. You start messing around with alien technology. You start talking to people pushing alien technology. What happens? You got CIA in the bushes watching you and your friends. You got funny phone calls. You got all kinds of crazy shit happens. Your electronics don't work. You're watched. Everything happens. You're covered. My friends say, why are there spooks in my bushes? Because I'm hanging out with you. What's going on? They all know evidence. Hell, some of the biggest evidence, my mom, I had a Draco pick up on my widowed mother to get to me, offered me $60 million, wanted me to go out to Area 51 because they overheard me talking about building light ships in my office in the mezzanine trying to hide, and I'll tell you, what do you tell me about this guy, this Draco? She said, what was weird about him? He did crazy things during sex like he hadn't been a human very long. He says, wow, I really like it when you rub me like that. That's really something. Can we do that again? What do you call that? What do you call that thing that we did? Wow, I like that. Let's do that again. How long have you been a human, guy? My mom said, this guy's a little weird. He's 50-something years old, and it's like he acts like this is his first time, and a little weird, I had another guy who was a handler of mine, and his name was Vince. And I knew right away this guy was an alien by the way he talked. His sentence structure was crazy. He even wrote that way. Like he used funny words like really like that stuff that you do. It's really cool. It's like, I couldn't even try to reproduce the shit that he did, but he was a damn alien. And when I confronted him about the stuff going on under the Getty and he told me all kinds of crazy stuff, you know what they did? They killed him. They killed him in New York. They gave him a heart attack. They hauled him off into an ambulance. They said, I'm okay, let me go. And I have friends who were also business associates with Scott say, yeah, they killed that dude. Why? Because he told me about the bunkers. He's the guy that came up with the word caver for those guys that live underground. He called them cavers. I call them cavers. It's like me, I call these secret guys CIA. They're not CIA, they're NSA, they're Templars, they're Bilderbergers, they're all these different things. They're Mafia, they're Masons, they're Draco, they're Gray, they're shapeshifters. There's all these damn things. I don't care what you call them. They live underground, they're cavers. They're secret agents working against us, CIA, whatever you want to call them. I don't care. There's a lot of enemy out there, and I'm not here to entertain you or lie to you. And I don't care about your bank account or your future. I want to destroy this world. I want to turn it upside down, and I want to destroy 25 million years of control because we are hybrids created by these bastards, and these three alien entities, the Grey, the Anunnaki, and the Draco, have been running this show for 25 million years, and we were born into this lifetime to wipe them out, to genocide them, because that is God's will. And there is no good alien, like there's no good Nazis, no good Satanists, no good Masons, no good pedophiles. Okay? And if you try to tell me differently, I'm going to cut your legs off. Thank you. My name is Stephen D. Kelly. I occupy the Getty.
I gotta follow that?
Yeah.
You didn't take the 60 million, Stephen? You're crazy. Jesus. So quite a lot of evidence there. First, with my personal experience, I was in as a contractor, as a subject matter expert in information operations. I was being promoted for strategic documents I had written about dealing with China as a threat. When I was being promoted, they said, Ryan, we're going to promote you, we like your work, but you have to let this China thing go. I said, what do you mean? They're horribly treating their people, they have no value for human rights, and it's like a nightmare there. And they said, well, they're with us. I'm like, they're with us? Okay, so who's the threat? He said, that. There's a guy with pictures of him shaking hands with presidents on his desk, behind his wall. My personal experience, I know Stephen doesn't like grays, but I had a spontaneous healing with grays. I've seen tons of ships, including weird anomalies like floating jellyfish, aside from the NASA footage of laser beams being shot at ships in the upper atmosphere, aside from the military police all knowing that craft show up around nuclear bunkers and turn off nuclear weapons. So if you want to say those are Nazis, wonderful. Let's hear what the Nazis have to say. They technologically advanced very rapidly during World War II, inexplicably rapidly. We had to add over 75,000 words to the English language, technical terms that we didn't even have in English that the Nazis gave us. When asked, some of their generals answered, we had help from the stars. That came through the Vril, which is channeling, which is about hair as an antenna, and I had to prove this to myself. Learning about changing brain states and altering your brain to be in contact is how you can demonstrate this personally. You don't have to trust any of us. You just have to know that there's enough there to experience it yourself. If you learn how to tune your mind and open it to telepathic communication, these beings want to communicate with us. That's why they show up, that's why they hover around, that's why they do cuckoo stuff like that, but there's also a ton that are evil. This is why we have disappearances in national parks. This is why we have laws from the government and the UN that it's illegal to communicate with extraterrestrials. So if you're caught doing that, that's third rail, you're dead. So that's why you got to be very careful in this realm, because we're not allowed to talk to them. Why would they have laws about us not being allowed to talk to them if they weren't there? Ask yourself that. Right? It's all there. And then if you want to look back at ancient history, you see in every religious text non-human beings. Look at the cryptids, blue people, St. Christopher, some kind of dog man, the cone heads that Brian Forrester exposes. It goes on and on and on. The evidence is all there. The problem is that people are brainwashed and conditioned to be scared of it, to not want to see it, to not want to accept it, to not want to integrate it into our belief systems. This is why these events are so important. This is why I participate and I try and share what I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's so much for us to savor as a human. And yet, Earth is a type 0 civilization where, think of a game like Sims or a place like Legoland. The limit in the constructs of the dimensionality and depth of sensations and perceptions to those who've actually built Legoland and to those who've actually wrote the video games behind SimCity is like how type higher evolved civilizations are in interacting with planet Earth. And we are at a point in time where Sirius is positioned to be the mystery school of the entire cosmos, the great central sun. And that lifts newer civilizations like the Pleiades that have been serving as our guides to that reality of more unity consciousness that means they will ascend to their next dimensional existence. And that means that Earth will very soon lift out of the Type 0 civilization, in which we will no longer need to burn fossil fuels, and we'll be able to generate free energy. And what that means is that there's no limit to what reality, how many Legos, what variations of the colors and textures of Legos are available to parlay into the sandbox. And like Gru in the Minions, he's like always grumpy, and then he has all these minions. All of them have different hair colors and eye colors and shapes. They're essentially his creation. Their happiness and their flow is correlated to how he directs them. And we have that version of ourselves in a different place that's not planet Earth. Everyone in this room has another version of themselves that is the Gru, with their minions on this planet, and you're the designer of your experiences and the people you come across and who's in your soul monad. And depending on how quickly you meet your soul monad and how you treat them determines how radiant the reflection is back to you. This is a game of the Great Hall of Mirrors. And so with all this talk about aliens, it's really going inside your higher form is creator. And there's many, many, many forms of all kinds of dolphins and whales and different animals on this planet that we haven't physically come into contact with. So just imagine the types of forms that exist outside.
Yeah, I think we can imagine. So aliens obviously take many forms. They meet with some people, they don't meet with others, but they leave a fingerprint of the gods, as Graham Hancock put it. And I would like to ask this panel of alientologists, what do you think is the best evidence that aliens have been here on the planet? All right, we'll start with you, Eric the Healer. Again, let's try to keep it to about 2 minutes because we got a big panel here.
Microphone set down, please. Your other microphone.
Other way.
Yeah, no, thank you. Just so the people streaming at home can hear us. You know, we have the DNA is the evidence, okay? How in the world do monkeys have 48 chromosomes and we only have 46? Well, we do have those 2 extra chromosomes, and they're fused into our 2nd and 3rd chromosomes. And that doesn't occur naturally. And that's your best evidence, okay? The DNA. What else do we have? We have megalithic structures. And, you know, we don't have the technology to build our state buildings, okay? Our state buildings that are we think are Greco-Roman style, which are really Tartarian. You know, there's evidence everywhere you look. You know, look at CDs technology. Look at your phone technology. That's alien technology. How in the world do they have a cell phone buried, you know, in the pyramids, and then these QR codes? You know, you scan your phone with these codes and you can buy things and stuff. How do they have those codes thousands of years ago? Okay, well, why are we using this? How do we get on the same system? You know, and then the language, the proof in the language. You know, there's just so much evidence, it's overwhelming. And so right there, the DNA should be enough. And like you said, aliens, communicating with aliens is illegal because they're giving us free energy information and how to build, things. Also, it's illegal to communicate with dolphins. Okay, why dolphins? Dolphins are from Sirius. You got the Dogman, Dog Star is Sirius. They get the central sun is where maybe it's coming back, and we're really maybe going back to the real Earth, So think about those things.
All right. How about you, Mike? You've written some books on this subject.
Well, I mean, so it's
Best evidence
that aliens are here.
or have been here
Well,
left behind.
the thing is, okay, you look at technology, and I hear that argument a lot. And the reality is, in 1958, we had figured out anti-gravity. By then, we had figured it out. T. Townsend Brown submitted a report to the Navy. They took it, and then all research and funding of any research on anti-gravity stopped because they had their answer. So that's been 66 years ago now. That we've had secret space program technology. Okay, we've had flying saucers, basically. So the technology isn't any evidence. The DNA is, I think you're right, very, very crucial because our DNA is unique on this planet, right? We have what they call junk DNA. That's not really what it is. It's just that we don't know what it's for or where it came from. And it's clear that we've been spliced together from some other life form that probably isn't native to this planet. And you look at, okay, this is Vegas. I moved here a year ago. Why do I need sunglasses when I go outside? You telling me human beings didn't evolve with sunlight? No, but you know what? Maybe there were other humanoids like, I don't know, should I use the word, I don't know. Should I use that word, Anunnaki? I don't know. Maybe they evolved on Mars where there's less sunlight and their brow ridges were big enough. There's all kinds of things about us that don't make any sense. When an astronaut goes up to the International Space Station, his biorhythms change. You have a biorhythm, a circadian rhythm. It's 24 hours while you're on the surface of the Earth. When you're in orbit, guess what? It changes to 24.9 hours. Guess what that is? That's the orbital period of 1 day on Mars. So you got all this DNA stuff, and then you have the absolute experience, right? And I don't know how to quantify this. Because you could say it's not evidence if it can't be quantified. I disagree with that. I've seen UFOs. Okay, I've seen things that could be ours, but there's this weird feeling that you get when it's not from here. And there was one in Sedona area, Jerome, when we were filming a show called Uncovering Aliens. And by the way, I wanted to say Stephen Jones, my co-star on that show, just passed away last week. Wonderful little English guy. He wrote a great book called An Invitation to the Dance about his abduction experiences. If you can find it, pick it up because it's a wonderful book. And Steve just left us. But he was filming Night Vision. Sorry, Brad, I'm going over, but I'll try to wrap this up quick. We're filming Night Vision stuff, and basically we're just filming B-roll so we can talk about, well, what's in the sky, and I'm looking, that's an airplane, that's a satellite, that's a helicopter. And we were ready to wrap it up because it's about an hour and a half after sundown. And so you're not really getting the illumination from the descending sun anymore. And he goes, no, I refuse to accept this. If you're out there, show yourselves. And I swear to God, 1, 2, 3, out of freaking nowhere, just appear right in the sky. They merge together. And by the way, I had the camera, so I'm filming all this with night vision. They merge together, and then they keep going. One goes around that way, one goes around over the mountain that way, one goes right over our heads. They all disappear. He called them. He called them. How does that work? If that's just a bunch of guys at NSA or CIA effing around with these people who are making this alien show for Animal Planet, how did they know how did they know? And how did these things disappear? That was creepy. And there's that creepy feeling that you're around something that's not supposed to be here, that's not part of this reality, that I think is the evidence.
There you go.
All right, I'm gonna just kind of cut to the chase. I've got all kinds of little stories I can share during my talk, and you can come by and visit me at my table. But the best evidence that aliens are here, I think, is since we found pyramids on Mars, and there's pyramids here, what's the connection? If it's not us, which it could very well be, aliens could just be us from the future coming back to try to right the wrongs of their timeline. I think that speaks to volumes that there's other cultures, advanced cultures out in the cosmos, and we're either related to them or they're super interested in us. And again, not to be boring, but it goes back to indigenous traditions. And what are they doing? I think they're telling the truth. I think that information can be trusted far more than information today. Even if contactees are totally sincere and honest, which I think many of them are, we have the technology that's existed for decades to make people have epiphanies, to have visions, to voice to skull stuff. I think Mr. Vielli can attest to this. This technology goes back far older than what we have been told. There was a gentleman, and I think his name was Sorka, don't quote me on that, but he was basically saying in the 60s that with the telephony technology that they have, the ability to project images into a human brain, they were going to usher in the second coming of Christ and the Christian kingdom, the Christed kingdom, with the use of this technology. So it's super tricky being a human. Discernment is really tough, and you've really got to look inside, know who you are. And since our history has been wiped, most of us don't really know who we are. So that makes it very difficult for us to discern. And so again, you go back to the indigenous traditions. I think they're more trustworthy, and there it is.
Good.
I'm an alienologist and identify as one. I'm a ufologist and identify as one. I wrote a book on knowing cosmology because it was a time when we needed that. I've been part of the ascension process since I lived and died. So I've studied the Monroe Institute and what he represented, and I've worked with the government, and I understand the Stargate program. I didn't exactly like doing the way they did it, so I went more psychic because that was the way that I was taught in the New Age movement, I guess one might say, my training and reading a lot of books. So that has nothing to do with the fact that I had abilities that I was given, and by being visited by extraterrestrials and making themselves known. Now, I had an interesting discussion with a forensic scientist and a district attorney right before I came in because they quizzed me for this panel. They're saying, how do you know that you saw extraterrestrials? Well, everybody I know doesn't necessarily come up to you and not speak to you, but can communicate with their minds. So I've been in the presence of men that talk to each other, and I was told not to talk, to sit at the table and not say anything. Now, that's one way I knew, because I said, well, I thought you guys had a meeting. And of course, I sat there and ate lunch and didn't talk. And they got up to leave, and they had already had the conversation. So that was during daytime in Oklahoma. And I thought, So that was my introduction to, if you want to say voice to skull or extraterrestrial, that way among human beings that look like they're human. I've had sightings of spacecraft that fly up, sit, and orbs come up. One goes to the left, one goes to the right. And that was my first introduction that I can remember as an adult. As a child, I've already explained, I saw orbs. And as death and dying, I saw them at the top of the room in the hospital when I died with hepatitis and came back. So I came back as a child, and then after I came back and visited Roswell, New Mexico, what guided me there, I believe, were extraterrestrials that I met when I'd been out of body. Now, I can't prove any of this to you, but I'm tracking myself, as we say, self-realized and humanized, how would a third grader going into the fourth grade on human levels of intelligence know to go to White Sands, New Mexico to meet extraterrestrials? So Steven Spielberg did something similar to that. My family lived in Lubbock, and the little girl went, and this is the story that comes after the taken. But I was taken there. I was guided there. And then when I come out to find my uncles meeting me that worked at Los Alamos, but I was told to never, ever talk about flying saucers or UFOs again. So that was just my experience. And then it keeps on. When I moved to Gulf Breeze, they visit me again, and I was told about Dr. Stephen Greer, and Dr. Bruce Maccabee became one of our alien contact organization directors. He is now deceased. Stanton T. Friedman worked with me to form the UFO Association. These are unincorporated, and we know who each other is. We know the military side, we know the Allied community.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Excuse me, I'm going to stop you guys. Say David Farman. This is Alien Event. We have to go to the second notch and one level higher. And I want to start with this video on TikTok that Department of Homeland Security is putting out. And it's rocking the world. And do you guys know that a week ago, DC was attacked by 100 feet UFO and they shut it down? And that news is, and also over multiple states, North Carolina, this many back east, all the states, big UFO visitations been recorded. Motherships too. But these are, and why do you think they're here? Why do you think they go show themselves on DC? They want to contact the government. The government ignoring them. They have a message. They want to have a dialogue. They want to have pass a very serious message. They're not stupid to risk their lives. They know they get shot. They know they can. We know they can attack us with any second. They can destroy this planet. Planet is nothing for them. But they're not here to destroy us. They're
What were you
here.
going to say, David?
I'm sorry?
What were you going to show us or say?
Here. You calm down. It's my show. Okay, you guys listen to this.
Good evening, America. Tonight, we address a story that has been clouded in secrecy. We've attempted multiple times to bring you details about an ongoing federal investigation involving a New York resident named Fitz. However, the Pentagon and the Department of Homeland Security have denied us permission to report in full. What we can confirm is that Fitz was present at the Bayside Marketplace on January 1st, where he allegedly witnessed something classified. He captured footage of the event, and that footage, we are told, is of critical importance. As a result, he's missing, his whereabouts unknown. Following weeks of surveillance and federal interest, the government has refused to release any further information, and we are being warned not to press deeper. But the American people have the right to know why a citizen, an ordinary witness, has disappeared. What is the government hiding? We will continue to push for answers despite the barriers we face. This is about more than one man. It's about transparency and accountability. Thank you for joining us. We will keep you informed as this story develops. Good evening, America.
There's a Department of Homeland Security. I have to find a video that the guy from working for DHS says that this guy is the enemy of the state, that he has the footage and he probably released it or what. They found him or they're after him, I'm not sure. And it's a criminal act to release such a video footage with the alien. Did you see that video?
Yeah, it showed the clip of the tall whites in the mall in Miami, very beginning.
Tall blacks.
Tall blacks. You think it's bullshit? Well,
Why are you wasting our time with this crap, David?
All right.
Yeah, let's
if you don't want
finish
to listen, we didn't come here to be attacked by a government agent. Yeah, okay. Just calm
Okay,
down.
I do think that the level of the questions needs to be raised. We already know they're here. This is obvious. And I think that was solved a long time ago. In fact, they've been lying to us about this for the past, really going on 90 years at least. And if you just want to go to Antarctica, where you've been, and dig under the ice, what you're going to find is signs of Atlantis. And Atlantis is the last time where aliens and humans walked together on the surface of the earth. So that's why they're so fascinated to go down there over and over again. And by the way, over a year ago, your little Congress came to the conclusion that not only are we being visited by extraterrestrials in, occupying vehicles, but that they've been here, and we know they've been here, and we know they've been lying to us about it for all these years. And who cares whether they say it's against the law? They're here, we're here, and it's reported daily, actually, on the internet, people seeing these craft. And by the way, the Tic Tacs that they are so bravely showing you, which of course they have tons of photographic evidence and film and interaction, and the aliens' bodies are here. They reported all of this in your Congress, if you just want to use that for your evidence. Even though a lot of those people do lie, the fact is this is all real based on my testimony going back 20 years. And the fact is that, we need to move this discussion to a higher level as to, are they here? Are there aliens? Come on, get over it. You know better than that. You know better than that, Brad. And I don't know if somebody fed you those questions because they wanted to keep everything on a low level of discussion.
Okay, let's raise it to the next level. Where should we go with this, Carrie?
No, I mean, you must have, who gave you those questions?
My mind.
All right. Well, anyway, we need to get to a higher level. And, you've written a lot of books and you've got all the evidence yourself, so let's raise this question. Now, maybe we should take questions from the audience, if nothing else, because it seems that, we're just going in little circles like in a whirlpool here and just regurgitating the same shit over and over again, right?
Me, I. Back to the word evidence. He wants evidence. What's the biggest evidence? Is you're carrying your damn cell phone. It's a technology. Philip Corso, day after Roswell. What did they do? They gave us lasers. They gave us photomultiplier tubes, and they gave us semiconductors. And until that happened, we were using the same technology as Galileo.
And all the ancient sites, with aliens carved onto them in Iraq, Iran, Egypt, etc. These are all evidence from aliens, okay?
That's what I want.
Stones in the pyramids can't even be measured unless without a laser
today. How about
today.
the pyramids? How about the megaliths?
Everything. That's what I'm saying. So what was the question in the audience? I think we've got a very intelligent audience. When I look around, I think most of you people know all this stuff. So what would you like to ask? Yeah, can you set a microphone up for people or something?
Hold on. Let me.
Everything changed.
Thank you. So it seems like we know where we've been with our history and aliens and whatnot. Where do you guys think we're going with this? What does the future hold, in your personal opinions?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Mike
It requires a creative mind. Go ahead, whoever wants to go for it. And don't take all day in your answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, Carrie, I won't. Where are we going? I'll tell you where we're going. Lies, and more lies. If you guys are waiting for the government to tell you about aliens, seriously, is anybody really doing that? You think Elizondo, who is a counterintelligence agent, in other words, a paid liar, is going to tell you the truth? I'm sorry Richard Doty didn't make it here, because Rich will tell you how these guys work. Whatever they tell you is not, at best it's going to be a little snippet of the truth, a little bit of the truth. The same way that Einstein and relativity is a little snippet of how the physics of this universe really work. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what they want you to believe in order to help them maintain control over every aspect of your life. And as cool as this is, it is a slave box.
One second, guys. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Waiting for you guys to tell us.
Would you?
We're not waiting for anybody. We're waiting for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We should create our own communities under ufology, like Lockheed does, Lockheed, they do every secret project. They go to Mars, Moon, and other planets. They have the craft which takes the alien home, like their boss said many years ago. So we need to create our own technology to go around the planets and have our own secret contacts. So what do you want to say?
question.
I can tell you exactly where we're going because it's a plan that the military has planned for a very long time. There are two paths. One where the military rolls out a digital control grid run by billionaires and managed by AI, enforced by robots, cyborgs, and the interbody nano network to control us. This is a fact. If you attend my show Sunday morning, I'll explain it all. If you look up my name, the Internet of, it's all there. The other timeline is we kill the archer and we stop the people who are trying to destroy and control us, and we free ourselves and regain true human nature, which is not cities and violence and war and hate. It's love, it's peace, it's abundance, and it's joy.
Yeah, he said it. So don't let they take your mind, because they come to you at night when you're alone and they attack you and they want to like a vampire, take over your mind and your decisions and your lives. And they scare you with the news. The news, they want you hear from things, not the reality is. Like if NASA say this, everything about NASA is a lie, because we live under a dome and they're very nervous. Everything goes around beyond the ice. All the technology they have built behind the Antarctica and behind the ice lines. And they don't want us to know what kind of communities, and there's over 87 different earthers outside the line of the ice in this planet. No matter, it doesn't matter it's flat or round or shit, what? Thousands of pilots said, yeah, we only see a flat line, 30,000 feet. They're lying to you guys. So those stuff doesn't matter. What it matters is beyond the Arctic line of ice, those communities, some of the people have contacted them, and what they've seen is amazing beyond belief. They're very highly technology human. Yeah, go ahead.
I think what they're trying to ask, the community here is trying to ask from the panel up here, is what I'm feeling is what is a clear and concise advice that they can commune to extra-dimensional, interdimensional beings, spiritual beings, personally, that they can do. What advice do you have for them personally? Not what does the government going to do? What is other people going to do? What can they do for themselves personally?
Prepare for first contact and prepare for planetary self-discovery when contact is already beginning now.
Did you bring your own device here?
Yes, I brought, but not here.
Right now, not with you?
Not with me.
Okay, all right.
But I can bring in
we don't have much
other
time,
people.
15 minutes we gotta go over. But you should have. Let Carrie talk. She's senior.
The key to getting contact with extraterrestrials is to still your mind, raise your frequency, but then still your mind, develop a peaceful personality. That's what we have to do. But I was going to ask what people think here on the panel about the Galactic Federation of Worlds, that they want us to join, but we have to do those things before we can join the Galactic.
Okay, now I do think that for the question the woman just asked just then, Ryan Bailey did say a number of things that you could do. And, we can all say that. I think a lot of the answers are already with us, and also the aliens are with us. And I don't know anyone's paying attention to Courtney Brown and his remote viewers, but they're talking to aliens on a daily basis and putting it over the internet. And you could say, well, they're just all making it up, but they're actually expert remote viewers who have a track record. So they've got something going for them. And I have to say that myself, I can remote view, and I know that Stephen can remote view, and there's probably a number of other people here who are psychic and can remote view. But what that does is open you up telepathically to alien contact. And if you want to know what to do, you know, you can think in your own mind as to what are your move to do. What do you want to do? What we do need is disclosure. What we don't need is to be told by our government one thing or another. We need to see through the lies. That's very important, and expose the lies every time they come out with a news story that has some truth and some lies. You need to expose the lies. So participate. Don't just walk away, turn it off, and ignore everyone. You know, this is actually a very crucial time. We're about to have actually real disclosure and a bunch of lies at the same time. And this is going to be rolled out by the New World Order. It's part of their agenda to try to distract us, to try to give us, as Reagan said, a common enemy, so that we will all, you know, listen to our you know, military-industrial complex and give them the reins. That shouldn't happen, okay? So you need to take it into your own hands. You're intelligent people. You know if you're having contact. Probably raise your hands. How many people in the audience are having contact right now? Okay, most of you. And the ones that are not raising their hands are in denial, because you are. The fact of the matter is, I mean, just saying, you know, I think I appreciate everybody's, you know, contribution. And Brad, I wasn't trying to, you know, criticize you. I just wanted to kick it up a few notches. And I think that they're capable of listening to that.
I want to ask Brad something. Go ahead, I'll finish. Finish, please. No, I meant you finish. Okay.
So I think that you need to realize that if you pay attention, very close attention, as I do, and watch these people that are lying to you, and watch the people that are trying to hide the around, you know, 80 to 90 years of secret space program, secret government that's mainly underground. They laugh at you. They call you surface dwellers, okay? And this is real. And God, go back to conspiracy theory with what's his name? And you can see that he was showing you underground bases all those years ago on television, all right? You know, Area 51 and you know, Dulce base. You can go up there, you can get arrested. Okay, why are they arresting you if there's nothing to see? Think about it. You know, so this secret space program, my witnesses have been talking about it for 20 years, okay, of testimony, of one military person after another after another. They're not lying. They don't make any money. They kill their sons, they kill their daughters, and then they kill them. I've got so many dead whistleblowers, it's ridiculous, okay? And they didn't all just die of old age, I can assure you. You know, so I know myself, I've been attacked. I know Stephen's been attacked. I don't know everybody here on the thing, for speaking the truth, okay? They follow you, they listen to you, and it's getting even worse, okay? And, you know, Elon Musk is like part good, part bad. His Starlink is just gonna surveil you even more. They wanna know what we think. They're watching us right now. They're beaming shit at this room right now with their electronics. Let's not mince words here, okay? We are surveilled, we are prey, we're being preyed upon by the Draco reptilians and the Greys. They feed on us. They're taking our children. They're taking slave ships of humans from war-torn areas off the planet on a regular basis. They're coming in through CERN. You know, I mean, this is a desperate situation on Earth. And I haven't even started my speech, and I don't talk till Sunday.
Thank you.
So, okay, I'm done. Thank you.
By universal law, nobody can take over your soul, no alien, human, or government, unless you allow them. So do not allow anybody, anything, to touch your atmos. Atmos is in Sanskrit, the cosmic seeds inside you. All of us, we are cosmic beings. Bullshit, what the fuck they do to people is not our business. We are cosmic beings. You're not Dick and Harry and Jones in the street. So we have a destiny. to play in this role in this life and next life and in the cosmic, and with our cosmic brothers and sisters who are waiting for us. They don't want to infuse they only want to interact with us until we're ready and we ask them to do so. That's why they keep coming. So as a researcher, let's ask Brad, so many years, let's say everything is fine and you're a ET disclosure aleontologist.
But Koso wants to say something. I think he has to leave early.
Yeah, you can go. I'm I'm the leader here. I'm talking.
I understand, but
go ahead.
Can he say what he wants to say before?
Jesus, man. Why are you leaving early when you know there's a panel? We have 10 more minutes. You can go. What do you want to say?
I just want to say one thing. You guys do not have a soul, because you are soul. Don't forget that. And also I brought alien technology as well. Come to my booth. So you can...
Why are you leaving, sir?
Well, no, because I'm looking at the time. I thought the time was...
This is rude. I'm talking to somebody. Get the microphone away from me.
10 more minutes to go.
This is the second time you're messing up the talk. Yesterday with that lady. Please, I will not put you on a panel if you want to act like that. This is all right. I'm talking to Brad also as a researcher.